Won't you please welcome Jesus Daniel Cruz?
There's a song I'm pretty sure you all know. It goes, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. I remember listening to these lyrics as a little kid learning English and wondering, what is love? As a gay kid, I never got to see what it meant for me. But I mean, I got to see what it meant for straight couples. My family would watch telenovelas, you name it, I'd watch it. La Usurpadora, María del Barrio, I've seen it all. And their love stories in most cases involved a twin or a sultry villain or someone slipping into a coma. But in the end, the hero and the heroine found true love to be stronger than anything. But what about me or people like me? I'm from the biggest city in the world, Mexico City. Unfortunately, there's a lot of machismo, and it always bothered me because guys who have like multiple baby mamas who are cheating with multiple women or who belittle women by putting them in their place, they're considered, manly and macho. I remember my father pointing at the gay waiter and saying, look at that puto, puñal, maricón, joto. All these words that meant gay as a synonymous for less than human. My family was Catholic, Mexican Catholic, and I remember being in church, sitting there just looking at the cross and that altar, and then just knowing what I knew about myself and just saying, please God, not me, not ever me. So eventually we moved to the United States. Then everything changed when I met Manny. We went on a date to Santa Monica Pier, and I didn't know it was a date because he said, let's hang out. And I stood there shocked when he said, I want to date you. When arriving to the United States, one of the first things that I was told was, never trust anyone, not even your own shadow. So when I first met Manny the first time, I didn't even introduce myself with my real name. So I said to myself, oh my God, how do I get rid of him? And I'm like, what's the fastest way to get rid of a man? You tell him the truth about yourself. Okay. So I say, you don't want to date me. And he frowns and asks me, why not? Well, for starters, the name I gave you is fake. I take out my ID and I showed him my real name. These glasses I'm wearing, they're fake too. I take my glasses off. And these shoes have a 3-inch insole, so I'm not 5'9". And I took off the shoes I was wearing, which I had bought at a website called tommenshoes.com. And I shoved them into the sand. And I go, so, do you still want to date me? He gets up, he takes my hand, and he kisses me. I felt like I was being seen for the first time. I told him everything, like word vomit. From my dad walking out on my mom and my little brothers without paying any bills, to having to give up school so that I could work, how I had been fired from my job for being an illegal, how I had to work any job under the table for well under minimum wage, working 16-hour shifts at a time just to get by. You're so strong. I really admire you for that, he said. And it felt kind of perfect, like the stars had aligned, like after all these years of hardship and suffering led me to meeting him, a person who understood me and who I could understand as well. We were both Mexican and we were both DACA recipients. To those who don't know, it's a program that allows people like me to stay in the country protected from ICE because we came here as children. I thought we could keep each other safe. I even introduced him to my mom and she said, what a good friend you have. We have been dating for almost 2 years now. We were watching RuPaul's Drag Race and he had laundry to do. So we went. We were there folding clothes and everything. And I'm just folding his t-shirts and then I just look across at the table, and I just know, like, his clothes are the only clothes that I want to keep folding for the rest of my life. And I decide I'm gonna propose, and I was gonna get married, and I had met the love of my life. This was gonna go perfect, just like a happy ending in a telenovela. And then came the worry, because I had not come out to my family, and no way I was gonna get married without them. The first ones that came out to were my little brothers, and that was the easiest thing to do, because it was an easy thing for kids to understand, because they're not prejudiced like the adults. So the big problem here was my mom. She had heart problems, and I didn't want to upset her or get her more sick. But I knew I had to, and I was trying to work up the courage when I got a text from Annie. He says, "We need to talk about something." I'm like, "Sure, what's up?" He says, "Lately I've been there all in my head, and I don't know if I should tell you over a text. You can call me." The place seemed to just like drop in temperature, and I just felt cold. He says, "I've been thinking about our relationship lately," he started. And it was like somebody had like took the air out of my lungs. I said, "What about our relationship? You have your responsibilities, and I need to be with someone." His voice just trailed off. And I wondered, what do you mean you need to be with somebody? Who? And he says, "I still care for you, but I knew care is not the same as love." He says, "I've been thinking about this for the past month since Trump, got elected, and I didn't know what to make up of it." And then he says, "I'm doing this for your own good," but that didn't make any sense, because it just sounded like a cheap excuse. We didn't speak for a whole month. I still had some of his belongings, and I go to his house to drop it off. I knock on the door, and his brother answers. He says, "He's upstairs, do you want me to get him?" And I had the word yes lodged in my throat, but I simply said, "No, I think it'll be better if you just could get him this for me." He says, "Yes." But then I see him walking out of the garage, taking out the trash, and there's just about 10 feet distance in between us, and we make eye contact, and I feel the world beneath my feet just disappear. He takes out his cell phone, and he just looks down, and he just walks away. A couple days after that, my cell phone rings, and it was an unknown phone call. I answer the phone, and this male voice seeps through. He says, "Stop stalking my boyfriend." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then the voice says, "He told me about you. He pitied you. Sweetie, before he even broke up with you, he was sick of you. Plus, I can give him something you never could." And then I just felt this anger, and I just said, "What would that be? Herpes?" And then he says, "I'm an American citizen." And I just feel my heart turn to dust. For the next couple of months, I spent my days trying to seem normal, keeping myself busy. But I was so depressed. I went into this deep depression. I lost like a ton of weight. And one day I was in the kitchen just crying my eyes out, and my mom came in, and I didn't hear her come in. And I just tried to dry my face, but she saw me, and she asked me, "What's wrong? You have to tell me what's going on." And at that moment, I wanted to come up with a lie, but the truth was just so much bigger, and I just couldn't hold it anymore. And I didn't plan on telling her like this, so I just spilled out the words, Manny and I broke up." And my mom sat down, and she stayed quiet for a long time, and then she finally said, "So that's why you've been like this whole time." I was taken aback by her response, and I asked her, "But Mom, did you know about me?" And she says, "Well, not everything is the way we want it to be, but yeah." I'd always had this notion that being gay was not seen as manly, and that I was going to be seen as less by my mom. She said, when I was sick, you were here with me. You cared for me and your brothers. When your dad left us, you gave up school to work 2 jobs to pay the bills. Through my divorce, through everything you've been here fighting, defending this family. That's what a real man is. I felt truly happy and accepted. It was way better than any telenovela happy ending. Thank you.